All right, good evening, everyone. Decided to go live tonight. First of all, I'm going to be talking about Brother Daniel Jackson. Brother Daniel Jackson was on this page, on this show about a week ago. And he's been catching a lot of slack for being on the show. The problem is that it's from those people who call themselves Masons. Daniel Jackson came on the show because I invited him to come on the show, and we had a great conversation. We cleared the air on a lot of things that was misleading or some things that was misunderstood. We had a great conversation. Really, I think that particular show was a great show, and I got a lot of good feedback on it. However, there are those so-called mainstream or Prince Hall Masons. I don't understand that got upset at the fact that he was on the show. That's that man's business. That's why I always say, stay out the bushes and keep your light on. If you would just mind your own business, everything would be okay. But most people don't want to mind their own business. They want to be in somebody else's business. This man, being a Mason, decided to take up the offer to come on the show and really discuss some issues within Freemasonry, which is on his own free will and accords. But for those of you who like to be eavesdroppers and cowards that come on the page, want to take back the information and say, look at here, look at this guy, look at what he's doing, and then go try to pull up dirt on the man? Come on, guys. That don't make any sense. How is it that you're going to try to pull up dirt on someone and you don't even really know them, but you want to go try to find out what Grand Lodge they in and why is he on this page? So this is what I'm going to do today. I'm challenging any so-called regular or mainstream Mason who may feel kind of slighted of the mere fact that they feel that this group, this page, this research page may be considered, oh, you're clandestine. Look, one brother told me, Brother White, big shout out to you. Brother Hawkins, you should leave it alone. You're bigger than that. But you know what? People keep pulling that back up. I'm done with the clandestine regular debate. I'm done with that. That's not even my concern. But when people pull it up and they keep wanting to throw it out there, I invite you to come on to the show. If you think that boldly about it, if you feel that tight about it, why don't you just hit me up? Come on the show. It ain't complicated. And we'll have that discussion. We will have that topic about what makes you better than the next person or next jurisdiction. Hey, what's up, bruh? Thank you for coming on. The process is that every Grand Lodge, whether your Grand Lodge recognizes them or not, is a sovereign body. Their jurisdictions resides over the lodges that works under it. Period. Now, this is just the educational piece. I challenge everyone to always go back and to check history, to check dialogue, to make sure if I'm saying something out of that's totally like you're totally wrong, prove me wrong. Come on the show, prove me wrong, tell me where I can go find the information at. Because I'll tell you this here. The Grand Lodge of England, as much as people like to rely on them, they are just a Grand Lodge like any other Grand Lodge. People say, oh, they're the Grand Lodge. Yeah, they're the Grand Lodge of England. The United Grand Lodge of England. Mainstream Grand Lodge is just another Grand Lodge. Prince Hall is just another Grand Lodge. I don't care what you say, it is just another Grand Lodge, brothers and sisters. So all I'm saying to you is that you have to get over that. And if you can't get over it, then that's on you. That's totally on you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Assalamu alaikum, brother. Appreciate you. My thing is that I've often said it, and sometimes I go back and forth because, boy, People can really pull some stuff out of you. Stuff you think that you've like, it's dead, I'm not going to bother it. They pull it up. And you be like, can you just leave it alone? Can you just let that? No. But if you want to have that discussion, let's talk about it. Come on live and we can talk about it. Don't hide behind your computer and type little stuff, hint at me. No, let's talk about it. Let's man up. That goes for any brother, any jurisdiction. This goes to you. Okay, now that I got that all out, tonight's topic, we're going to discuss the Sphinx. I want to talk about the Sphinx. I don't know if you knew this or not. For those of you who may be Shriners and those of you who may not be, or Masons, or you just checking the page out, I'm just going to share this little nugget with you that the Sphinx was once used for initiation purposes. Check that out. Now you can do, like I always encourage everyone, always go do your own research. Do that not only for you, but do it for me so you can come back and say, well, I didn't find it and I can tell you where to go, but I want you to go search it for yourself. And then nobody, then you'll be all right. You may come across some other stuff. But the Sphinx were used for initiation purposes. Now, you may say, what were those initiation purposes? I'm going to share this with you. The question was asked, why were Sphinx erected in front of the temple? Okay, they was erected in front of the temple for initiation purposes. They were to denote that all sacred truth is enfolded in all sacred truths are enfolded in allegories. All truth are enfolded in allegories. Freemasonry talks and its symbols talks about allegories. It deals in allegories, and they tell a story. The story they tell the story that they tell is of ancient customs long ago. That's how those stories are told. And I'm gonna check this out. I'm gonna share this with you. It says, this is a book I have. It's called Facts of Freemasonry. So this is what I'm getting my information out of, okay? So it says here on page 2, it says the Masonic symbols, okay, derived from Egypt, the land of science and philosophy, perilous for tombs and temples, the lands whose civilization was old before other nations' science called to emperors and had names. So they're saying here, before anything else, before it was even named Africa, that continent, that place, that land had those Masonic emblems placed amongst their temples. That's what they're saying here, and it goes a little bit farther. But I want you to get this. Is a good book to have in your library. This is actually a good book to have in your library. Okay, and that is on page 2. It just says basically that the science and philosophy, the perilous studies in tombs and temples, and the land whose civilization was older or old before it was even named. And if you know anything about Africa, that is not the original name of the continent. Come on now, go look that up for yourself. It was not the original name of the continent, and we have to go and do our own research. What's up, Brother Eddie? All right, Brother Lewis, Brother Lowe, what's up? We have to do our own research, man, and I tell everybody that. So getting back into the Sphinx, I was reading that when the priest became what we would call high priests, okay, they were initiated into the priesthood. If you go back and read even in the Bible, they talk about damn it, his name is on the tip of my tongue. I can't even think of his name now. Melchizedek. Did I say that right? I think that's his name. He was a high priest Think about that lineage and how people had to be initiated as a high priest. As a matter of fact, if you even take a peek at the consistory of the 32nd degree, and look at how the most puissant sovereign grand commander is elected to office, it is parallel to the way that the Pope is elected by the priest or the cardinals. Guaranteed. There you go. Thank you there, Brother Eddie. Appreciate it. Thank you. Boy, I was trying to pull that out of a hat. You know, and then bruh, if any of us would just take our time and just really indulge ourselves in Freemason, man, it will blow you away. It is something that I'm glad I'm on this journey. I'm personally happy that I was introduced to the fraternity order, you know, and the people that I've come across and what I've learned from those people and their example has really taught me a lot. This is why I said Masonry, take good men and make them better. It's just on the precept that you're already a good man. Okay. First of all, you say that you believe in God. So if you believe in God and you're going to take that stance and you're going to lay it all on the line, then you're already a good man. Now it says that we're going to take good men and make them better. You can't necessarily make me better unless I personally indulge myself on that journey. And a lot of us don't do that. We don't. A lot of us don't indulge ourselves on that journey. This is why you get so many brothers and sisters going back and forth about their jurisdiction, which is garbage. The fact of the matter is that each of us, it was upon our own free will and accord that we decided to take that journey. It had nothing to do, most of us who joined Freemason, it had nothing to do with the jurisdiction that you joined. There was somebody that you knew was a Mason, and you was like checking that person out. Or with somebody that you knew that was Eastern Star, he's like, wow, she's deep. I'm liking her vibe as a sister. You checking her out, you're like, wow, you know, sis, I really, you know, something changed about you, you know. Well, you know, with the Eastern Stars, you know. And if you know anything, true thing about the Eastern Stars, now them older sisters that's in the Eastern Star, some can be pretty treacherous. And there are some sisters there, man, that has nothing but love for the order. And I say that because in my own experience, just the other day I was coming from LA, right? And I decided to stop by a sister's house, Sister Ermagine Smiley. She's about 91. So I knock on her door and I said, hey, Sister Smiley, how you doing? She said, I'm all right, Brother Hawkins. You in LA? I said, yeah. She said, where you at? I said, I'm on your front porch. You know, because I'm knocking and she ain't coming to the door. So when she came to the door, bruh, you know, I said, hey, what you cook? Oh, Brother Hawkins, I just cooked some greens, some hot water cornbread, and I got this, I got some yams, I'm like, wow. So myself and my grandmaster at the time, and she told me this. She said, this is what it's all about, Brother Hawkins. This is what it's all about. And a lot of us never get that experience. A lot of us miss that because we're too busy in somebody else's bushes. We're too busy not even allowing our light to shine. We're too busy looking at what other folks are doing and really missing out on Freemasonry. You can't tell me that you're not missing out on it because a lot of you inbox me talking about how clandestine I am and why I even got the page going. Yeah. Somebody said that. Why you even got the page up? I don't even understand that. I'm like, dude, it ain't for you to understand. It's not for, if you don't like the context of this page and what we talk about for those who come on, well, don't come on the page. But if you do like what we talk about, if you do like the flow, hey, tell somebody, let's make it happen. Let's get it popping. And that's real. Let's do this. And if anyone out there feel that they want to come on, hey, you're welcome to come on. This ain't that type of show. I'm not gonna put my light under the bed where people don't see it. You know, I don't care who you are. You have an opportunity to come on this show if you so desire. This is not one of them shows where they say, well, you know what, you ain't with me, so you can't come on. No, let's have the conversation. What happens a lot of times, most people don't want to have the conversation with you because they may end up getting embarrassed. It's just that simple. And then they'll be like, well, you know what? You're clowning. I ain't got time for that. I don't. My objective is to share knowledge, is to share where you can go and find a good book on masonry. My I want people, especially those brothers and sisters who are involved with the organization, to really take care of the organization, to start respecting other jurisdictions, to start respecting yourself, to uplift somebody along the way. And man, the organization will forever thrive. But as long as you're out tearing somebody down, not really educating them about the organization, it's going to be turmoil. It is. And I want to talk about real topics, real subjects, not just that feel good thing. No. So getting back to the topic at hand, because I kind of got off of it, and it's dealing with the Sphinx and the initiation process that in the earlier days that high priests went through. If you're a part of the Royal Arch Masons, you know that as a Royal Arch Masons, the high priest has a tablet upon his chest, which represents the 12 tribes. And you know by reading scriptures that when the high priest went into the holies of holies, that there was a rope tied around him, right? So as he walked in, swinging the incense, the purification, right, and meeting face to face with God in the tent, you know that once he stopped moving around and you didn't hear the bells around him no more, they pulled him out. They pulled him out. And if you've been initiated into the Royal Ark, you know that you had to go down. When them brothers let you down, they taught you, you had to go down, and then you discovered that which was lost. So as a master mason, as a master mason, you have to, I would say, it would be your best thought would be to complete where you started at, Royal Arch. Royal Arch. And we talked about that on the last video about that Royal Arch. And for those of you who have that mark, you gotta come with it. You gotta come with it. And that my thing is to encourage, to build up, to share the knowledge. Because let me tell you, once we're gone, anything up here is gone too. So what are you going to do to build the craft up? What are you leaving behind besides terror? Wow, really. So as I was speaking earlier in regards to the Phoenix, it's the initiation process for those who was becoming high priest is a true thing. So if you look at that Phoenix, it's and where it's at, and it's located in front of the temples, you would have to agree, once you've done your own research, the initiation process that they had to go through. So you have to ask yourself, where did Christ go for those 40 days? They said he went into the wilderness. What wilderness? Whereabout did he go? Everything that you read, everybody who was ever successful in scripture went through Egypt. Everything went through Egypt. Even when Christ was a child, they told Mary and Joseph to take the child down to Egypt, right? Why Egypt? Can somebody, why take the child to Egypt and hide? Everything went through Egypt. Moses went through Egypt. Everything that was done biblically, you can look in scripture, it all leads back to Egypt. And if anybody tell you that the Jews were slaves, Jews were never slaves. Okay? The Jews were never slaves. And y'all probably saying, Brother Hawkins, you lost your mind. No, I'm not. No. They were not slaves. Jews have never been slaves. That's a fact. Yes, you're absolutely right, Brother Boxer. Hey, what's up, Philip? Yes, I would certainly agree. I would certainly agree with you on that one. He said, Brother Philip Boxer says most characters in the Bible was initiates. Or yes, I will agree. And even if you look at John, John had his disciples. Christ had his disciples, right? And what was they called? I'll wait. Somebody got to know what those disciples were called. What they was in a set. They had their own little group. At that time. Cause John was, yes, John the Apostles. Absolutely. So when you begin to break that thing down, man, there you go. Brother Philip Boxer, boy, you hot tonight. It seems. Oh, yeah. You hot tonight. You will find more about them if you get the book Hammer's Key, if I'm not mistaken. That's one heck of a book to have. And that's why I even learned about that particular set at the time. I was like, wow. And they tell you about their dress, their initiation that they went through. It tells you about all of that. And that's a good book to really get if you it should be in your library. It actually should be in your library. And I say that because anybody in this thing we call Freemasonry, you should begin to start yourself a library. Period. Bar none. Yes, Ham's Key. Oh yeah, that's a good one too. And there's another book a brother shared with me about a week or so ago, maybe even a little bit longer. It's called The Prince Hall Secrets Within, or The Hidden Secrets Within Prince Hall. That's a good book. That's a good book. You will be surprised. You would be surprised. And let me say this here. I know that I say Prince Hall this and Ancient Free that. It is not my intention to always be going Prince Hall this or Ancient Free that. Because of how we have divided ourselves in this thing called Freemasonry. The secrets within. Thank you, Brother Lewis. Appreciate it. Because of how we're divided ourselves within this thing that's called Freemasonry, this is what you get. You get this thing called Prince Hall. You get this thing called Modern Free, Ancient Free, because we have taken it and I don't know, we've done a number on it. And it shouldn't be that way. It really shouldn't. We shouldn't tear it down as we tear it down, especially jurisdiction by jurisdiction. If I find that you are a Mason who have been initiated into Freemasonry in your jurisdiction, let that be. Great. I'm happy for you. Keep hope alive. If I feel that you have been initiated into an organization that I don't recognize or you don't recognize me, however it may go, let's still have respect for each other. Let's do that. And the process is not to beg for respect. A person begs for respect gets no respect. If you're begging for respect and if you're begging for recognition amongst your peers, you get none. Really, you will get none of that. Not here, you don't. Was not the Jews slave during the time Prophet Moses, peace and blessings be upon him? That was one of the... No, they were not. No, they were not. You could talk to any Jew, legitimate Jew. I'll come back to that later. And they would tell you they have never been slaves. The Jews were never slaves. The Israelites were slaves, but the Jews were never slaves. And there's a difference, okay? There's a difference, okay? And you have to go do your research and find out, well, who are the Israelites? And don't come back and tell me they were the Jews. No. Nope, doesn't work that way. And that's something we're the real Jews, brother. You know what? People should go do their own research and find out who they are. And they'll be surprised at what other leaders from other countries have said about them. Go look, pick up the book that was written about Hitler and what Hitler said about the black people in America. It will shock you. And I want you to go do it for yourself. Or you can probably even Google that, Hitler opinion of Black America, what his thing was in regards to Black people in America, and who are they? Because we still here, you know. That would shock you in regards to that. So the initiation process that everyone goes through as a Mason is really no difference jurisdiction to jurisdiction. I was talking with Brother Jackson the other day in regards to this, for those of you who were on, and he would tell you that. Good evening, Wordsmith. Good evening, welcome aboard. Oh, that's why they took him out. You know, so I lost my train of thought. But anyway, brothers and sisters, in the initiation process for which we go through as a person, an individual who's a member of the Order of the Eastern Star, one who's becoming a Mason, I would tell you this. Whatever you do through your journey, because let's get one thing straight. I said it again earlier. This is a individual journey. As a person, as this is your journey. It's yours alone. So whatever you put into this thing called Freemasonry, you will get out of it. If you put nothing into it, you are going to be pissed off because you're going to quit. If you put something into it, you're going to really enjoy it. You're going to meet a ton of people. Sometimes it's going to make you mad. Sometimes you're going to be like, damn, I'm loving this. It's plain and simple. And no one can walk. No one can walk it for you. Not this journey. No one can walk it for you. I was reading a post today about a brother. He said that he quit Freemasonry because he felt that it was an occult. And I was like, I don't know. People come into the organization for different reasons, and they quit for different reasons. So I can't. I don't know. He said it was an occult. You know, Freemasonry is a cult because of it grazed Jesus Christ, and I'm like, ooh wee. No, he hadn't been to a good St. John's Day. He hadn't been to a good St. John's Day. I'll say that. Anybody can come back and tell me, oh, you know, you Masons are cult, and you're not high enough yet to really understand all of the inner workings of Freemasonry. You know, you're not there yet, Hawkins. And when you get there, you will know that it is truly an occult. I'm like, oh, okay. Okay. But I will say this, though. I will say this. That's their favorite line. I will say this, though. Now, in Freemasonry, there are individuals who have jobs that have them positioned in certain parts of the government to where they have access to certain things, and they are Masons. That doesn't mean we're trying to take over the world, but that's what people say, you know? One world order, you Masons. No, man, if you really understand the concept of Freemasonry and the various jurisdictions, and it will blow you away. But this is the point. The real Jews was us. That's why he called the... Oh, really? Jews bastards. Hence, name Jewish-ish, meaning similar but different for the ones. There's no J in the Hebrew language. Oh, we. Oh, just broke that down. Oh, that's real. There's no J in the Hebrew language. Nah. See? Somebody out there been doing some reading. Somebody out there know a little something. Yes, you do. And you know what? That's the thing. That's the thing. There's a lot of us that has a lot of information that we want to share. And if you want to come on and share that information, do that. Don't hold it to yourself. That's if you need a place to go and share this information, you want to get it out, brothers, sisters, come on. Let's do it. Let's do it. I'm not trying to debate anybody unless you want to have a debate. But the ideal is to unify. The ideal is to respect. The ideal is to show the true concept of Freemasonry. I believe a lot of us miss that. I don't care what jurisdiction you're in. I believe that a lot of us miss the true concept of Freemasonry. We're too busy being in the bushes. We're too busy not indulging ourselves into some good literature, some good reading, and finding out this thing we call Freemasonry or the Order of the Eastern Star. And I believe once we take our rituals, once we take them, open them up, man, we'll be all right. Once we're able to do that and practice that, because the philosophy of Freemasonry is deep. And being moist. Oh, you ain't gonna let that one go, huh? You ain't gonna let that one go, bruh. You ain't gonna let it go. But definitely, definitely. And I would hope that in my travels that I come across brothers who really want to connect. I mean, legitimately want to connect. I don't have time to go back and forth and to beat a dead horse and you this and you that. I think we're all past that now. I think the process is that we begin to knock down doors, build those bridges, and have a better understanding of Freemasonry. That's it. I'm not trying to. You don't have to like me. The process is that if you are true to the craft, I ain't talking about no real Mason. I'm talking about true to the craft. You would understand what Masonry is and what it's really all about, and its teaching and philosophy. Now, here's the thing. I come across people all the time. Oh, I'm a real Mason. What is a real Mason? Can somebody just give me a definition of a real Mason? You can just type it up. What is a real Mason? Because I've heard too many times that I wasn't a real Mason. I need to have that definition. Is it in a encyclopedia? Can I just pull it up? Or is it just a word that people like to throw out because they can't really say anything else to you when they're talking to you or debating you about something? Then they want to say you're not a real Mason. What makes a person a real Mason? Oh, yeah, it is just a word. Too busy following another brother's journey instead of traveling in your own journey for life. Absolutely. This thing we call Freemasonry is a journey. I was talking to Minister Hugh Muhammad today, and we talked about the pilgrimage and the journey today. And in the process, he broke that whole thing down and said, just like the brother just said, it is an individual journey. I can't do it for you, and you can't do it for me. Just like when I go to church, and when those who come before the altar of Christ and accept Christ as their Lord and Savior, I can't do it for you, and you. That's your own personal walk. This thing we call Masonry is deep. It's your own personal journey. And along that journey, you're going to find and meet sisters and brothers. Some you were like, I never want to meet you again. Some you're like, hey, you know what? Let's connect. Be it state to state or wherever you may be. And that's the beauty of it all. That is truly the beauty of it all. I would say this. I had a brother today. I go to church with him. He's a member of the California Grand Lodge. Yes, he is. And I'm not going to call his name, but I'll tell you this here. He is one of the first African Americans over there in that whole entire. He's one of the first. Yes. He was a member. I'm going to tell you. He was a member. Okay. He was a member of St. Peter's Grand Lodge. He left St. Peter's Grand Lodge, joined the Grand Lodge of California. He was one of those first brothers, all right? This brother was so intelligent. I mean, he has doctorate, his PhD. This brother was off the chain. He went over there, became a worshipful master in one of their lodges. When he became a worshipful master in one of their lodges, he became their lecturer. I mean, hey, what can you say? I talk to him all the time. He'd be like cracking me up. He always asks me if I'm part of their cult. You know. So if Brother Philip Boxer one, oh okay, I'm reading what you wrote, Brother Philip Boxer. A real Masons within the initiation process, passing, raising is the process. Ah, shucks, is the process to join a brotherhood. All right, Brother Lewis, I appreciate that. Brother Philip Boxer. One can be part of a lodge and not be a Mason. The same way people go to church and aren't really Christians. Ooh, it's about where you first were truly and duly prepared. Brother Philip Boxer, you own one tonight. You own one, my opinion, limited that three key principles: friendship, morality, and brotherly love. So, of course, Tony Muhammad, you are a real Mason, spreading the cement of brotherly love. I appreciate that. Thank you. Just join. How are you, my brother? All right. What's that, Brother Robert Harvey? 357. 357. 357. Is that in San Diego? Brother Harvey. Is that I think 357 is in San Diego, Lemon Grove, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong. Now, you said you just joined and it was 357. I know of a lodge called 357, but that lodge is in San Diego, Lemon Grove. You can come in. I believe that's the one. So welcome aboard, Brother Harvey. But you know, the thing is, and I've invited, greetings, Brother Jones. I've invited various brothers from other jurisdictions to come on board and have a say. And the reason I do that is because this is the only way Masonry is really going to make a progress. It is the only way that we're going to move forward. You know, everybody believes that they're in their own little world. We're the it factor. You know, my Grand Lodge is the it factor. You ain't regular, but you ain't real. You ain't this because you're not here. Don't fall for the okie doke. Don't do it to yourself because you will mess yourself up. You know, when you come across brothers, oh, well, I can't talk to you because you're not with me. That's bull. If anybody ever tell you that they can't talk to you because you're not with them, need to check themselves. As a matter of fact, you just need to walk away because they're part of a cult. Straight up, yeah, for real. Oh, okay, so that is 357 Lemon Grove. Okay, all right, that'll work. Yep. No, brothers, that's just my number behind my name. It's been traveling for some time. Now, my lodge is Metnuck number 214. Hey, okay, all right. 357. Brother Harvey, I thought that was here in San Diego, California. There's a lodge 357 located in Lemon Grove. Just want to give them a shout out. They work up under the well, not the most, but they work up under the Grand Lodge of California, free and accepted Masons. But tonight, I do want to send a shout out to the regular Grand Lodge of Virginia. They're having their session. Brother Joseph Burris and to Grandmaster Bates, who's there. Did I say Grandmaster Bates? Oh, he gonna kick my butt. I got it. But anyway, to the Grandmaster State, to brothers, to those brothers, the regular Grand Lodge of Virginia, I wish you greetings, the best of everything for your session that you're holding. Wow, I messed that whole thing up. I don't believe that. He's going to be calling me, Hawkins, what are you talking about, bruh? What are you talking about? You know what? Greetings. That's all I got to say is greetings. So let's get back on topic. So in the initiation process, as far as Mason is concerned, and also the Order of the Eastern Star. Once we take those principles, man, it becomes a joy to be part of the organization. I believe that some of our brothers and some of our sisters get around the wrong people in the organization and begin to bash or begin to downplay or the other jurisdictions, and that's not a good look. Because I tell you this here, anytime anything happens and it deals with the Freemasons, they don't put the jurisdiction that person was in. They don't. They just say that person was a Mason, and that's it. You remember the gentleman who was the doctor for Michael Jackson? He was a Mason. Yeah, he was a Mason. He sure was. Look him up. He was a Mason. You surprised, you know. So it's just the idea. Nobody said, "Oh, he's part of this." They said he was a Mason, and then that's how the conspiracy theorists they go in. Oh yeah, see, the Masons killed Michael Jackson. You know, I agree. I'm walking in my ancestry legacy while creating my own. Oh yeah, and that's beautiful. You're walking in your ancestors' legacy while you create your own. That's beautiful. We all should. I don't care who you are. We all should walk in our ancestor legacy while we create our own. I remember my grandmother was a member of the Order of the Eastern Star, and I didn't know why I think it was like on Mondays or Tuesdays, she would come out of the house and she would be dressed in all white. I thought it was Mother's Day. Not Mother's Day, but the motherboard. I mean, if you belong to a Baptist church, you know what the motherboard is, right, sisters? Right, brothers? You know, it's the mother's board. You know, they all white on Sundays, and, you know, whenever they go, it's all white. So I thought it was a mother's board thing that she would come to the house, and I remember her always in white during the week or like that Monday, Tuesday. Later, I found out that she was a member of the Eastern Star. And I was like, I was at a wild moment. I actually went to her home and I picked up her book, her OES book, and she was like, "Oh, you don't pick that up. You need to put that down." That's the that's the polite way of what she said. But afterwards, when she found out that I became a Mason, she was like, "Oh," she was shocked. She was happy for me, you know. And you know, man, to find out that my grandmother was a Mason, and then I'm like, wow, and I never knew. And that is the unique thing about being a Mason now versus being a Mason or Eastern Star then. Those sisters and brothers in those days, when I say those days, I'm talking about the 70s. I'm talking about the days before internet. How about that? Sure don't, because Tarvon Martin, dad, was an international free and accepting Mason, and they are considering clandestine. But the news just reported he was a Mason. Absolutely. That's all they said. He was a Mason, you know. And, you know, as a matter of fact, he was on one of the talk shows. Ah, shucks. I think he was on one of the talk shows. He was live streaming, and some of the brothers would come in and, oh, he ain't a real Mason because he's part of this. I'm like, and come on, that just, I can't take it. He's not a real Mason because, you know. But anyway, you're right. The news did just report the fact that he was a Mason. That's all. Because they don't distinguish jurisdictions, but we do. Yes, my great and great great grandmother was a star, and they were on the motherboard. I didn't know until her to the death. Absolutely. Please keep talking about your grandmom and the old school Mason. Hey, I am. Oh man, I'm so off topic. I don't even know. I'm so off topic. But any of us who came into Masonry because of those who we seen, apparently those people left an impression upon us. I know that my grandmother did. Once I found out that she was an Eastern Star, I understood why she wore all the white. You know, I didn't at first. And I would tell you, like I said earlier, if you belong to a Baptist church, you knew that the motherboard, they wore all white with the little white thing in their heads. You know, they had the white little thing that covered their head, and all the motherboard sat over here, and the deacon sat over there. You know how that went. You know. So, but when you find out that most of them, the deacons, the motherboard, most of them was Mason and Eastern Stars. They were. They're just a fact. And I doubt it. I doubt very serious if they really took any of this stuff that we're talking about now to heart. I doubt that. And especially if you look at that time and period. Let's look at our grandparents and during the 50s, the 40s, 30s. Let's just think about that time and era living in the United States. Do you really, and I know we did, but do you really think that thing boiled over to where it interrupted how we dealt with each other? I doubt it. I doubt that our forefathers, be it whatever you want to call it, I doubt if they allowed this thing we call Freemason to interrupt the way they dealt with each other. They may have said, "Oh, well, you're a clandestine," but they didn't come out like they come out today. No, no. It was respected to be part of the organization. To be an Eastern Star, to be a Mason in those times, man, it meant something. Now the question is, do you believe that being a part of this organization, does it carry the same shine that those long ago carried? Do it? We can even say in the 70s. We ain't got to go too far back. We could start with the 70s. Do you think that it carries the same shine? You know, I have a brother that lives in Alabama now. He ran across a PHA, and he told my brother they don't recognize four-letter Masons there. I think he was very wrong for ever letting that come out of his mouth. Woo! But it did. And that's the thing that we all have to deal with. Be it whatever jurisdiction you're a part of, we all deal with it. The process to get over this hump, is to let that go. To get over the hump is to let it go. It's to be civil. You know, if you don't think that I am, peace, be well. You know, as a matter of fact, peace and prosper. You know, I don't have time to hold that against anyone. But if his obligation say he can speak Masonically, he must follow his obligation. That's a touchy subject, right? Okay. Yeah, it is a touchy subject. It is. However, it's all about respect. If you see me with my emblem on, or if you see me with my ring on, and we have a different jurisdiction, all you have to do is say, "Okay, how you doing, my brother," and keep it rolling. We don't have to talk. You know why we don't have to talk? Because we know the same thing. I keep saying it over and over. If you see me and we greet each other, we don't necessarily have to talk or say a word because we know the same thing. Now, if you want to try that, brother, to make sure, that's on you. If you want to try that, sister, that's on you. But we know the same thing. Some of us may even know a little bit more, and I'm willing to listen because I can always learn something. And a wink and a nod always work. Absolutely. Philip Boxer, boy, we on team tonight. We there tonight. Yeah, bro. Yes, absolutely. You don't even have to Q&A nobody. Yeah, what up? You know. So and we keep it moving. You don't have to do all that other stuff. You don't. You really, really don't. And that's the beauty of the whole thing. Now you know as well as I know that there are some who just won't let you pass. They just don't get it. Hey, brother Dwight, what's up, brother? Man, 5 a.m., 5:15 a.m. in the UK. Man, I've been missing you. I'm going to tell you, bro, because you and I was, we supposed to be making some things happen. Don't forget, we can do it. Brother Muhammad, we can make it happen. We just got to stay in touch. Always a student and teacher. Oh, man, you know what? Whenever somebody tells you that you can't teach them something, they just lost me. Period. Because I can always learn. Because you know what? Here's the thing. What I'm saying today, from what I've read or gathered information, I can find something else that can change that whole thing around. And I can be like, wow, I didn't see it from that point of view. I didn't have this information. So, of course, your thought process and what you have changes. That's with any student. That's with any teacher. You can always add to your knowledge. You can always add to it. And that's why I've learned not to get upset anymore with what people say. You know, why? You give people too much power over you when you get upset over what somebody else said. If it's not true, let it be. Ah, keep hope alive. You know, tomorrow gonna come, the sun is gonna rise. Then what? What they said is gone. It is done. It's over. And that's how I view it. So, look, I'm gonna call it a night. I appreciate you being on. And boy, it's hey, brother Dwight, but you just came on. It's 5:15 a.m. over in the UK. Oh wow, my brother. I hope all is well with you and your family. I know we was being in contact with each other for a while there, but you know, I'm still here. And hopefully any information I shared tonight, anything that came out, if it benefited you, if this was a great conversation, I'm glad to have you aboard. If you want to contact me, for those of you who have the number, you could do that. You could text me up. You know what? I try to be what I want other people to be. I try to be the example of what a Mason should do, how that Mason should carry himself. I'm not saying I'm perfect, but I try. I put forth the effort. You know, sometimes that effort is like lazy, and then sometimes it's like, yeah, I'm on it. You know, so it ebbs and you don't have my number. I'll give you my number. Uh, no, hit me up a messenger. You know, just look for Tony Hawkins. I'm that guy. That's truth. But hit me up. Message retracted. Okay, retract. Okay, brother Harvey, what's going on? But anyway, so I would. Oh, brother, hey, it's great to be honored. It's great to have people say good things about you. But let me tell you, there are some people out there that don't like me at all. Oh my God, brothers, let me tell you, if I, you know what, I'm gonna share some of this information I get from my inbox. Hold on, I'm gonna share this, cause this man, you wouldn't believe what I get as far as in my inbox. You know, why you do the YouTube channel? You're not a real Mason. You're clandestine. Why brother Daniel Jackson come on your channel? Brother Christopher Jackson, he's just a hoodlum. I'm like, oh my God, you know, I get all of that. I get all of that. But here's the thing. I always invite people, if you think or if you feel that you want to come on and have this conversation, let's do it. I ain't them back. I don't care if it's the Prince Hall think tank. I don't think it's a couple of more Masonic groups or Masonic things that's going on out there. If any of them want to come on this page and have a conversation about masonry or a good debate, not to get ignorant, but a good debate, let's do it. There ain't nothing to it. I mean, there's less. The ideal is to keep it respectable, and let's not try to embarrass the next person. You know, name calling, we're gonna leave that out. When you begin to curse, when you begin to name call, that means that you have nothing else to say. That means that you cannot debate efficiently. That means that you're limited in your discussion, your topic, whatever you got, you're limited. Once you debating a person and you go to name calling and cursing, you have lost the debate. You're done. Oh, okay, yeah, yeah. If you ever feel like the world hates you, they hated him first. Oh yeah, for real. That's true. But you know what? I don't know if I necessarily feel that the world hates me. It's just the idea that let me share this with you. For those of you who have been on the page, you've heard me say that I go to the mosque and I go to the church. And that may be difficult for some to grab or to say this guy here goes to the mosque and the church. I do that because it works for me. I go to the mosque and I go to the church. It works for me. It really does. And what I've learned is the difference in prayer versus the difference in prayer at the mosque and at the church. I've learned that. I've also learned that at the mosque is more disciplined than they are at the church. I also learned that at both of them are full of energy and some are not. I got that. I still need a book to read, brother. I will inbox you on Messenger. All right, appreciate it. Appreciate it. Oh, okay, okay. But check this out. So, in the mosque, they pray with their hands open. All right? In the mosque. Now, if you go to a black church, they got the tilt. They got the one finger up. You know, they got the head tilt, and with one finger up, they got the hand up, right? But let me share this with you. For those of you who don't know, as a member of the African American church, be it Presbyterian, be it Baptist, you know, whatever whatever it may be, have you ever thought, why do we hold one hand up when you pray? You know, you do this. Why do you do that? You know, I mean, I know Masons are supposed to not to talk about church and all that, but I'm just curious because I'm going to share something with you that I came across. So for those of you who may be on tonight and you go to St. Anthony's Missionary Baptist Church or whatever, and you know at prayer they dip with the one hand thing down, I'd like to know, do you know why we do that? That's all. And then for those of us who do go to the mosque, you know, we hold our hands open like this, and I'd like to know why you do that. I'm just throwing it out there. So, you know, but back to masonry, because I brought that in. I just curious about it. But back to masonry. Man, it has been a wonderful day. I'm about to lock this thing down. And as I always say, you know, keep hope alive. Stay out them bushes and keep that light on. So if you want to inbox me, go right ahead. If anybody want to go on, let me see if I got it here. Cause I'm looking for the number. So look, gentlemen, I was gonna go and do. I don't see it. I was gonna go. If you want to be on a conference call tonight, I want to do a conference call tonight after this. But I'm looking for my book with the number in. Hold on a second. Do anybody out there want to do a conference call tonight? It may be a little late on the East Coast because on the West Coast it's just about 9:30. But if you want to do a conference call tonight, just to have a good conversation, let me know by hitting yes, and we'll proceed. Yep, you're right. We pray with the hands open. Yep. Yep. Ooh. I'm a prouse. Hey, you know what? I got a question for you, Brother Raheem. I got a question for you as far as being part of the Sunni, being a Sunni Muslim. Brother Lewis, you still got the number. All right. So if you see the number up there. If anybody want to go on conference call tonight, Brother Lewis just posted a number. We can definitely do that for a few minutes. If you want to do that, go ahead and hit yes, 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 and we would definitely go on and make that happen. Brother Lewis, man, I appreciate you. Thank you. But back to Brother Raheem, I had a deep conversation the other day, Brother Raheem, in regards to Muslims being Masons. Now, you are a true Muslim. What is your opinion about Muslim being Masons? You could type that in if you can, speak it, however you can get that in to me right now. I want to hear that because I want to share this with another person who said that they posted on one of my pages, Muslims shouldn't be Masons. I don't get it. I don't get it. But if you can leave your comment, I would certainly appreciate it. And for those of you who want to go on conference call tonight, if you want to do that and make it happen, just let me know by hitting yes in that. If not, we're going to call it a night, but we're going to definitely be back. And I have a guest that'll probably be coming on with me on probably tomorrow or Tuesday. Um, his brother's from Florida. He's part of the trying to think his Grand Lodge. Can't think of his Grand Lodge right. It'll come to me. It'll come to me. He asked that could he be on the show, and I told him, yeah. If you want to be on, come on, let's make it happen. Okay, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. All right. It should all apply to all of those who are here to a religion. It should. It really, really should. And it does. If you would apply it. A lot of us don't apply anything that we get out of Freemason because we're too busy turning it up. We're too busy out like, yeah, my boy, yeah, my girl, we doing our own thing. My opinion, I love it, but some Muslims because they know nothing about Freemason except what's on YouTube. Well, tell them to join us. If I tell you what, I would like to have you to come on the show. If you want to come on, you're welcome to come on. My thing is try to get as much information out as possible to any and everybody in regards to Freemasonry and what it really is. Not this spooky, ghostly, whatever you find. I'm talking some real stuff, real conversation with real people who are Masons and Eastern Stars, including the sisters. If a sister want to come on and want to have a conversation, we can do that too. I think it's only beneficiary that we do that. I'm not excluding anybody from any jurisdiction. I just want you to be respectful to those who are on. That's all I ever ask. The only child, Muslim, Christians, and Jewish religion. Oh, okay. Okay. So look, we're going to call it a night. It seems as if nobody wants to do the conference call. And so the G does not discriminate. Man, every time I get ready to go, somebody puts something up. But you're right. The G does not discriminate. No, it does not. So I'm going to leave it there. And I'm going to go ahead and sign off. And I appreciate everybody who's watching, who's participating. Definitely, I appreciate the love. I appreciate your comments. Definitely keep your light on and stay out the bushes. I'm out.